This is Chrissy Cooking at Home. I'm Chrissy, and today I am making a classic old beef stew. I know, lots of people make beef stew. Everybody does it a little different. I don't really have a measuring system. A lot of us who've been doing it a long time don't measure much, but you'll see what I do and why I don't measure. But I kind of measured my broth, and I'm going to measure my cornstarch. So let's get started, and I'm going to get you positioned over my island so you can kind of see down on top of what I'm doing. I'm doing it in my electronic pressure cooker. That's been my new favorite way to do it, instead of my crock pot, which used to be my old favorite way of doing it. I like this better. It's getting later in the day. It's been time getting away from me kind of day. I slept in. I didn't get up till 5 a.m. Throwing me off. The dog, he's just going berserk. He smells the meat. Let's get started. Okay, so my electronic pressure cooker is from Pampered Chef, and its name is the Quick Cooker. I'm sure everybody just calls everything the Instant Pot or the Insta Pot. Same thing, same diff, electronic pressure cooker. In the olden days, it was done on the stove, the pressure cooker. And I still do the pressure cooker on the stove for my pressure canner. Okay, so what do we have? I have, this is going to move. I'm going to turn it on to sear. Okay, I think other ones have it as saute. I don't know. I'm going to increase my time just because I don't want to run out of time. I'm going to turn it off before I run out of time anyways. I'm just going to put it at 45 minutes just so I don't run out of time. So I have about 2 pounds of chuck roast here that I cut up into 1-inch cubes. I have about 2 pounds of small potatoes. They're varying sizes. I'm not going to cut them. I'm just going to leave them whole. I'm not going to peel them. I'll leave them whole. Here we have our other veg, which is an onion that I peeled and just cut into chunks. About 1 inch wide or 1/2 inch wide. And then some carrot pieces. That's 4 carrots and 3 stalks of celery. That's it for that. We have a little bit of flour. We have pepper for my pepper shaker. I have some Lowry seasoning salts. I don't need vegetable peeler anymore. That was for my carrots. 4 cloves of garlic with my garlic press. I gotta get out the cornstarch yet. I'll get to it. 2 cups of beef bouillon. So 2 cups water mixed with 2 cubes of bouillon. So what I'm gonna do while that's heating up, I also have some vegetable oil. You can use canola oil. Gonna put about 1.5 tablespoons in there. So I got my meat. Just going to sprinkle. This is where I'm talking about not measuring. Going to sprinkle the meat. I've not seasoned the flour. That's why I'm sprinkling the meat directly. Pepper shaker. My pepper shaker must be getting low because it's taking forever to come out, so I'm shaking it like a mad woman. All right, turn over my hunks of meat. So I'm seasoning 2 sides. You can season all sides if you want. You know, whatever floats your boat. If you season all sides, don't season as heavily as I'm seasoning. Because remember, you can always add salt and pepper. You cannot take it away. Unless you take your meat and run it under the faucet. That just sounds gross to me. Because I mean that after it's cooked. Because that's when you would taste it. Because you're not going to taste it now to see if it's too much. The other ingredient we're going to use is Kitchen Bouquet. And I'll show that about the time we do the cornstarch, which is later. Alright, so rubbing my seasoning into my meat. Alright, some of my seasoning landed in my flour. It's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to sear our meat off. You can hear my pressure cooker here is a little older. I've had it for 4 years and I use it a lot. A lot. Now my island is clean. I cleaned it really good before starting this with you. I think there was about 1/3 of a cup of flour that I put in here. I know I didn't need a lot. We're going to do this in batches because we're not going to overcrowd our electronic pressure cooker. I'm just going to refer to it what it is. It's a quick cooker. That's the name of it. Just know that I mean my electronic pressure cooker or, you know, Instapot. Oh, one got away. Okay. And then once it's cooked in batches, we're going to put it back on this plate here. Why? Because I'm the one that does the dishes by hand. You see the oil in there? So we're going to let it sit. Get brown. Caramelize each side. Not each side, but about 2 or 3 sides of the meat to give it flavor. We're not trying to cook off the meat. We're trying to give it flavor. Okay, so you see how much I put in there? See how much I have left of the 2 pounds? That's good. Alright, I'm going to rinse my fingers real quick. The meat's going to cook for about 4 minutes before I turn it, so I'm going to pause you. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. I've been watching the time count down on the front here. Okay, now it's been 4. So we're going to start to turn with our first piece. Now, 4 is not quite it. I think I told you 5. But I'm hungry and it smells good, so I'm a little anxious. But I went ahead and decided I wanted to add some more. And that's the great thing about cooking is that I very rarely stick to my own recipes a lot of the time. I usually add or tweak and I don't measure. But we're going to measure the best we can. I'm going to add some bay leaf to this. 1 or 2. I'm going to add a little bit of thyme. And I'm going to add some rosemary. That's what's in here. Just because it sounds good. It's a rainy December day. It is December 3rd, 2023. And now it's been 5 minutes. How are we doing? I'm going to turn my inner pot. Leave these to alone. I turned these. They're brown. They're just, it could be browner. Nice crust form. Beautiful. See, 1 minute makes a difference. Now, if you didn't add enough oil and your meat is soaking it up, just add a little bit more. Don't panic. Oh, now he's getting fussy. I'm sure you can hear her. All right, all the pieces have been turned. Not sure if you can see. Can you see the crusty goodness? The brown food tastes good. Camera doesn't want to focus. And so that's what it looks like now versus, you know, that. So all right, 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna move on to the next I'm gonna go ahead and sear off these. I'm not gonna bring you back for that because I've shown you what to do. And then I will bring you back for deglazing the inner pot with a little bit of broth before we add the rest of our stuff. Okie dokie. We have a little bit of oil left in the pan, and that's good. Well, our pan, our insert, you know, whatever. First step. Garlic goes in. Okay, not garlic skin. 4 cloves of garlic. You can omit. Hand chop. You want to mince it real good. Okay, not chop it, mince it. Mince it real good. Or buy the jar minced stuff. Put in what you think would be good. You just don't want an over garlicky, well, maybe you do. Maybe you want an over garlicky beef stew. Don't let me tell you what kind of stew you want. I still have it on the saute function, or the sear function, whatever function your machine has. Okay, now, you know, garlic only takes a few seconds. So over here, I have 2 cups of broth. Pour about half a cup in. We're going to deglaze. We're going to get these little brown bits up off the insert. But wanted to just cook that garlic for a few seconds. Get the garlic, you know, a head start. It's going to cook either way because, you know, when you pressure cook something, it cooks. And when you get these brown bits off the bottom of the insert, that is flavor. So just a nice strong wire whisk, and it's already coming to a nice boil, which is helping us get the brown bits that we're deglazing off the pan. Is that flour from the meat that has been browned and sticking to our insert. So, you know, don't panic when your meat sticks a little. Just pry it up and turn it over. Once you get your pan what's considered deglazed, all the brown bits up with that broth, let's add our seasoning. So I think what I'll do, because thyme and rosemary can be overwhelming, I'm going to hit cancel on this. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of thyme. You don't have to add any. It'll be fine without, honestly. I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of rosemary. And then for good measure, a bay leaf. The rest of our beef broth. Going to put our beef back in. I'm going to do this in layers, okay? Beef back in. With the red juice there, just all of it back in. That's flavor, flavor, flavor. That's going to cook. Don't worry. Cook, cook, cook. It's going to cook, people. Promise, promise, promise. Okay. So that'll go in the sink. Next layer, we're going to do our carrots, celery, onion. Smells fantabulous. Then potatoes. I don't like the look of that one. He's not going in. Okay, I have reached my max 2/3 full. There's markings on the inside that tell you your max level. Make sure your ring is in. Make sure all your stuff's in working order. Safety check, safety check, safety check. It's in place. All right, so I'm gonna do custom for me because that's how I like to roll. Then I'm gonna adjust the time to 25 minutes. Yep, you heard me. 25. That's all I'm doing. See, this potato, I don't like the look of. See how that is really dark green. I don't like how dark that is. If it was a lighter green, I would toss him in. That's fine. But I don't like that. So he's going in the garbage. So, now that I have started it, we're going to let that cook. It's going to take a few for it to come up to pressure. So it's got a little floury from where I'd handled it when I had my hands full of flour. Okay. Turn it around without jarring it. So this is the front of my electronic pressure cooker from Pampered Chef. So it'll do this until it comes up to pressure. And then on top here, the red pin will come up. And then after it's come up to pressure, it'll count down. Then what we're going to do is we're going to let it naturally release for 10 minutes. Now by that, I mean we're just going to leave it alone. After the timer goes off, we're going to leave it alone for 10 minutes. We're not going to release the pressure. We're going to let it do it on its own for 10 minutes. Then after that, we will do a quick release. On my machine, it's this button here. There's a button on top that'll release this valve. I don't have to flip a thingy. I push a button. That's my machine. So that's what's going to happen. I'll bring you back when it's time for me to push the button. So I'll see you in a bit. It'll be a blink of an eye for you. All right, it's been 10 minutes, so now we're going to push the button. We're going to wait for this pin to drop. It's going to take a few minutes. I'll bring you back. Might be hard to tell from your angle, but the pin dropped. It dropped. You see all the steam coming out of the... That looks delicious. Yummy. Smells delicious. So, secret weapon. Just to add a little deliciousness. Now, I've got it set to sear. I'm going to turn it around because you can't see the functions. But I need to see the functions. Oh, I turned it off. Just so I can get it back to kind of like a boiling. Because we're going to do some cornstarch. I got 3 tablespoons of water. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. See it boiling? So 3 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, we're going to thicken our broth. I mean, once you put it on the sear or the saute function, it should come right back up to a nice boil. Because, I mean, you just took it down from the pressure. It should be like lava hot. And our bay leaf, out it goes. Now, our secret weapon. Turn it off because it's just going to keep going. We're going to start with 1 tablespoon. I usually don't measure my kitchen bouquet. I usually just pour it in. But I'm going to try to measure for you. So start with 1 tablespoon. See if that's a good color for you. Now you notice the potatoes are, with the spoon, slicing right through them because they're a white potato. If you had a russet, they would hold up really, really, you know, they're a really hard starch potato. That's why I left these whole. If I'd cut them, they would have disintegrated because they're a white potato. If you've got russets, you know, go ahead, peel them, cut them into smaller pieces. They'll hold up great under pressure. And you know what? I think 1 tablespoon is good. And there is beef stew. And now Miss Nellie's fussing. So I gotta go see what she's all about. But the beef stew is done. His pressure cooker is turned off, but it is still bubbling. It is still boiling hot. I'm gonna let it sit and rest, and then it will be dinner served. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.